Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will be talking about queues in programming. That's right. Queues or a queue is the data structure in programming and specifically in JavaScript. And in this video, we will be learning how we could implement a queue, and we will be treating the different big O notations for the different operations that you can carry out using a queue. And without further ado, let's dive in. So, what are queues? Basically, a queue, like I mentioned, is a data structure in programming or specifically in JavaScript. And you must be wondering, are queues in real life the same as queues in JavaScript? The answer is yes. They are all the same. So imagine you are in an ATM queue. You went to withdraw some money and you come to the ATM and you see a very long line filled with people. What do? You stand very close to the last person. You don't just jump to the first person unless your case is high priority. But normally what you do is you stand behind the last person in the queue. And basically that is how queue works. Queues are basically a data structure that obeys the first in, first out rule. So which means that as the first person in the queue, I must be attended to first before any other person. Once I'm done, I move and the next person comes in place and it continues until it gets to the last person. And to implement a queue in JavaScript, you use classes. And you must have be wondering, why can't we use an object? Why can't we use an array and all of that? I think classes makes it very easy for us to, implement the different methods and, the different structures that a queue would need. So for this video, we'll be using a class. And to implement a queue, first and foremost, we need to create two different classes. The first class is we create the node. Let's call this the node. And the second one is the actual key. So let's call it queue. So the node here basically is a class that we can use to create our nodes. And because a queue is structured in a first to last order, we have to create our queue data structure to emulate the structure that a queue in real life has. So for queues, you have to have your constructor, function, constructor, right? Hope I got the spelling correctly. Constructor. Okay. This goes there. And for the constructor in the queues, we have these dots first. I'll have the these dot last. And for this, we have this dot value. And you have this dot next. So the values is meant to have something like this. So the value is meant to be passing a value object and it's to be this. Then and the next would be null. And for queues as well. So for queues, it's going to be different. So instead of having, this is meant to have this method. So for queues, like I mentioned earlier, we would have to use the node we have to use to node class to create our different nodes in our queues. So the first things first, we need to, each time we create, we call our, okay, I think what happened is, let's do something like this. Let's say, so what do we do? Railroad. Okay, you know what? Let's give this a null. Let's put the value as null to start. And the second one, null as well. So let's create our method. So in queues, you have different methods that you can operate or you can use in queues. So you have the first one, which is the enqueue method, and the second one, which is the dequeue method. So basically, enqueue and dequeue is the same, or it's synonymous to push and pull in arrays or in stacks. So basically, the enqueue method allows you to insert a value into a queue. It allows you to insert an item in a queue. And the dequeue method allows you to remove or delete an item in a queue. I will use the word remove instead of delete. So it allows you to remove an item from the queue. And for this particular video, we'll be implementing both the enqueue method and the dequeue method. And to implement the enqueue method, all we need to do is call enqueue as like this. And we'll call the queue like this. So this is the enqueue and the dequeue. And because enqueue is for addition or for insertions, let's add the value here. So for enqueue, the first condition or the first thing we do is we check to see if the queue is empty. If it's empty, then the first value must add the same item or the same value as first and last. So basically, what we'll have to do there is we'll say, let's see. Okay, you know what? We need to have the length property here. So let's call the length 0. And let's say if this dot length equals to 0, if this dot length equals to 0, then first node will be created, and the last node will be created as well, and both would have the same value as first and last. Else, and once we do this, we need to, of course, this dot learn else we have this dot last dot next. So you have your this dot last dot next should be your new node. Instead of creating new instances of the new node, doesn't it make sense for us to I think it makes sense for us to just create it at the top level and pass it down as a variable instead. I think that's what we're gonna do. So let's create equals to new node. I think this would be easier. And then just pass it down like this. Same for this. Same for those. And start last would be equals to new node. Alright. This dot last dot next will be the new node, and this dot last will be new node. Okay, yeah, that's correct. So once we do this, we increment the length property as well by 1. So let me increase this so that we can have more. It's not helping a bit. Let's decrease. Okay. So since we've created our class, let's use our class. So let's create a queue of individuals waiting for the ATM. So let's have something like ATM queue equals to new queue, then okay, yeah, so this is the ATM queue, and let's imagine the first individual to come to the queue is, let's say, Chidi. Let's call them Chidi, for example. And to make things look nicer as well, let's just return this. So you have sorry, new queue. Oh no, this I'm not meant to do it like this. My bad. So create a new queue, then let's add an item to the queue. Let's add a queue. A queue method. And queue. Please not and queue. And let's add Chidi. And what happens? Running this. Oh, sorry. Made a mistake. This is not meant to be. This is not an object. This is not an object. So all you need to do is use a assignment operator, not the column. Okay, think we're good. Let's run. Uh-oh. What is happening? What might be the issue? Let's see. Let's see where the issue is coming from. Okay. So we have a first value chidi, and we create the new node. And we say if this.length is equals to 0, which is true, this.first is equals to new node, this.last frame. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. I've seen where the error came happened. Okay. Okay, so I think forgot where the error came from. So I forgot to return here. I meant to return here as well. Meant to return here as well. So let's run this again. Q. Oh, wait a second. Oh, nice. It returned a value. So as you can see from here, we have our queue, and our queue has the first node and the last node. And the first node contains chidi as a value, and chidi as also the last value, and the length as one. So let's try and let's try and add more items to the queue. So add church. Oh, I think the debugger is still there. Sorry about that. I think the debugger is still there. Let's remove this debugger. But apparently you've seen that it works. So the first is still chidi, and it has the next to be a node, and the next is the node known as Josh with the value Josh. And the last still remains Josh with the null value as the next, and as you can see, the length increase as well. So our queue works, the enqueue works. So now I think it's time for us to the queue, that is to remove from the array. So to implement the queue, what we need to do is we need to do something like this dot first. We need to do okay, yeah, let's do this dot first equals to this dot first dot next. And the first becomes the next, and what else? So it's the first is the next. We need to decrement. And we need to return. So basically what happens here is we replace the first item with the next item, and then we decrement the length by 1, and then we return the queue. So we'll do something like ATM queue dot to queue, and let's see. So running this should remove Chidi and leave just Josh, right? Yeah, but I think a condition needs to be met. Yes, a condition needs to be met. So if there is no first value, sorry, if there is no first value, should return null. So it should return null, and I think the second should, if the length, if the length is 1, right? Or if the length is 0. If the length is 0, then what do you do? The length is 0. We should. So we've already done it. It has the first value, which returns null. And what is another condition you can use here? Uh, okay. Okay, so let's leave it like that. I think it should work this way. Yeah, let's leave it like this. So by running our dequeue method, let's see. Let's run our dequeue method. Awesome. So our dequeue method removes Chidi and replaces the first node as Josh and the last node as Josh. Perfect. Awesome. So I think that is it about queues. That is basically how you implement queues using JavaScript. And this is basically how you implement the two important methods in queues, which are the enqueue method and the queue method using JavaScript. And something to have in mind is the different big O notations for these different operations. So the insertion and the removal or the deletion. So for enqueue, which is like the insertion, as you can see, we didn't have to look through anything. All we needed to do was just to check to see if length was equals to 0, and then we did a thing else. We appended the node to the correct position. And for things like this is a constant time operation. So which is O1, O of 1. So the enqueue method here is O of 1. And the dequeue method here, we didn't have to go do any looping here. So it's also constant time, which is O of 1. And yeah, with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've been able to learn what queues are and how queues are being implemented using JavaScript. And also you've learned the different big O notations for the different methods that you can run or use using queues. And with that, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next one.